Oh, how the turntables. This is the Pixel 9 Pro Fold from last year. When it launched, it was lauded as being a thinner device and having an actually usable external screen when compared to a brick like the Galaxy Z Fold 6 or Z Fold 5 that I have here. And oh, stop there, I am well aware that the old Z Folds have their fans, okay, and there is a good reason why they were that thick. However, the new Galaxy Z Fold 7 absolutely blew us away with this new design. It's super thin and the external screen is very big. It is the perfect foldable. When you compare the current Galaxy Z Fold 7 to last year's Pixel 9 Pro Fold, A, it's not a very fair comparison because these two are basically a generation apart, but B, it does feel like a much bigger leap, doesn't it? Just look at the bezel thinness and the overall profile. And if rumors are to be trusted, the upcoming Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold will very much be the same, at least externally. But okay, let's not count our chickens before they're hatched. Maybe you own a Pixel 9 Pro Fold, or maybe you're looking at a deal and wondering how it compares to what could possibly be the best foldable or among the best foldables in the market right now. What do we have? We already talked about the external looks, okay? Let's open them up. Okay, the hinges feel nice, but the Z Fold 7's does feel better. It has a very solid and consistent resistance in the motion throughout most of the fold and unfold process. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold doesn't feel bad, but there's definitely more pushback when you get past the 50% open point. And then when you go to close it, it also gives you some unexpected resistance. I'm not saying that it feels bad or cheap, but this one just has a more uneven tactile experience, while the Z Fold 7 feels like they took super extra care to make it feel very stable and premium throughout. The thinness is great, but I do have to point this out. The Z Fold 7's wobble is absolutely ridiculous. Props to Google for a more stable design of the camera module, but also come on, Samsung. Okay, let's look at the internal screens, and yes, there is a crease along the both of them. Credit to Samsung, they really upped their game this year. Now, it's still visible, especially when we point lights at it, trying to catch the reflections to get it on video for you, but in terms of how tactile it is, it's pretty shallow. You can still feel it, you can still sort of see it, but it's much shallower than before. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold also has what we praised as a pretty shallow crease for its time when it came out, but in comparison it does feel like it has a deeper dimple, and it's definitely more visible when the screen is on. But to be clear, both phones have a crease, you can't unsee it, and if it's still a thing that annoys you, don't get a foldable. Or if you're getting a foldable and it's one of these two, just know that you will have to learn to live with some sort of a crease. Thanks. Okay, so how do the main screens look? Well, pretty good. Both can hit roughly the same levels of max brightness, both can go about the same with minimum brightness, but the Z Fold 7 is a pinch better at this. In terms of color accuracy, the Pixel display drifts a bit into the greenish teals, just a bit more, where the Samsung is a little more natural. Funnily enough, while taking this B-roll footage, we kinda noticed that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's display does better with HDR video. We see better contrast, more natural colors, while the Samsung has a bit more saturation and less dynamics, kinda. Both in the settings have a slightly more saturated mode to engage, a night mode to filter out the blues, and a dark mode, but the Samsung takes it another notch with the adaptive color tone setting and the eye comfort shield setting, which are kind of separate toggles that sort of cover the same ground, but not exactly. You have to see it to understand it. But neither screen will disappoint, and they do both have 120Hz refresh rate. That goes without saying in 2025, Apple. The software does look very different, however. Samsung's One UI 8 on top of Android 16 totally changes the appearance, the notifications shade, the way the toggles and settings look. It's a nice design with a lot of transparent elements and sharp edges. I like it compared to stock Android, which is a bit softer, creamier, plasticky. That said, we do have the Android 16 beta on our Pixel 9 Pro Fold here, and it's a sneak peek at what the final software will look like when the Pixel 10 line launches. And I do like the improvements here compared to what Android 15 was. Also, Google is finally adding some more advanced functionality to Android. Samsung has had DeX for years now. You plug the phone in an external monitor and you get a desktop interface, so you can basically work with this from anywhere. Well, Android 16 is now also getting a desktop experience mode, which will do much of the same. It's not great in the beta right now, but it's a promising feature nonetheless. If it's included with the Android Core for all phones, Samsung will definitely have one less selling point, but it will be a Pixel exclusive on launch. When talking about extra features, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 did lose a major one. The S Pen doesn't work with it. That's basically the price of the thinness here. No more Wacom digitizer inside, no more support for S Pens. It's a shame because it's the one thing that foldables do make the most sense for a huge canvas to take notes or sketch in. But alas, thinness won. Enough crying, let's talk about the cameras. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 got the same 200 megapixel sensor from the Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it's a very welcome upgrade. Photo details come out sharper, but not too sharp. Contrast is strong and the dynamics are wide. The pixel photos are definitely nothing to snark at, but in direct comparison they look a bit more softer, washed out, with less contrast maybe. Now, the telephoto camera on the Galaxy is a 3x1, while the one on the Pixel is a 5x magnification. However, when zooming digitally, the Samsung can reach 30x, while the Pixel caps out at 20 times magnification. But the Pixel zooms do look better, less noise smearing and more details, so props for that. So it's a give and take. Realistically, you won't be spending your days comparing these one-to-one all the time, I hope. So rest assured that both cameras will serve you very well, though I do like the one on the Samsung a bit better. You know where you will find huge differences? In the performance. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite, and it absolutely runs laps around the Tensor G4 inside the Pixel. The Qualcomm chip pushes the envelope and is built on a 3nm process. Its top clock speed is 3.53 GHz. The Tensor is a 4nm chip, but it can reach a pretty respectable 3.1 GHz. Those are just numbers, so here's some more. The Geekbench and 3D Mark numbers speak volumes of what these phones can actually do. But let's get a bit more grounded. How do they feel and perform throughout the day? Well, I can't say that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold feels slow. I did live with it for about a month to get into the Google vibe of things before Android 16's release, and it was fine. There are some slowdowns, maybe from time to time, but I'd call them more a hiccup than anything serious. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 does feel super buttery and fluid. Multitasking on the bigger screen is also great. I can't say it feels twice as fast, though the benchmark numbers suggest something like that. Yeah, when gaming, sure, it squeezes out a lot more frames with higher detail settings, but for daily use, Android just doesn't need that much power. I can see it being better for heavy video editing or image processing on your phone, and it does make sense to do such work on a foldable at least. So the Z Fold 7 definitely takes the cake here. More is more, even if it's just for future-proofing. So what's our takeaway? Well, one, you haven't liked the video and subscribed yet. Secondly, new phone better than old phone. Duh! But rumors do say that the Pixel 10 Pro Fold will look about the same and have a Tensor G5 chip that's still less powerful than the Snapdragon in the Z Fold 7. Here's hoping that, at the very least, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is not going to go up in price. If it stays at 1800 while the Samsung is now at 2000, I think it will make a bit more sense. You tell me what makes sense to you in the comments below, because I'm out. Bye!
you.